All right. Before we jump into this episode, which is going to be the best episode yet, because every episode we do is the next best episode. But anyways, before I have to give you guys a disclaimer. So the disclaimer is we have a new bro with us that hasn't been with us before. He has been with us. We recorded a session, but it all got lost. The audio was bad. Everything got lost. It's really bad. So anyways, we lost the episode. So we will redo it though. That'll be in the future. But because of that, you don't know who this person is. So I want to introduce you real quick to Mr. Kyle Rasmussen.
What's up?
Yeah, another bro. Yes. So again, we told you guys before, there are 7 bros that are in the Brosen text thread, but only 5 of them did the podcast originally. Kyle has now joined us for lots of episodes. So Kyle, tell the people who you are.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really great to be a part of this. I love all these guys here. I've been friends with them since season 2. When I came on with my wife just as a day player once, that led to being on full time for season 3 because of Snowmageddon. I think that's the reason. I was stuck in Texas and out of our Airstream there, and was invited back for season 3 very generously, and through that opportunity developed relationships with all these guys and have continued to work with them on various projects outside of the Chosen even, and have continued our friendships. I think that's been the core of really our relationship, is just a friendship. So that's why I love being a part of this. It's really just more about the relationships for me. But yeah, just great to be a part of the Brosen, even remotely from Colorado.
Yeah, so Kyle joined us at Sermon on the Mount, a crazy day, and when it was super cold. That was his first day, and he shined so well that he joined the team full time, and then also became an additional assistant director. So he did what Sam does now and what Ben did before. Those guys have all had the same job, and so handled background and joined the team beautifully. So here he is.
Sam, Ben, and I are trauma brothers.
Brothers. You have no idea. Everything I know about, a lot of the stuff that I know about being an AD now comes from Kyle. Because
the good and the bad.
The good and the bad. Kyle and I went through the trenches together in season 3. And then I went through the trenches with Ben in season 4. So it helped me very well to learn from past mistakes. And Kyle did not make very many. So I was able to make those mistakes instead as I was becoming an AD.
You would have been fine without me, but I'm glad I could pave the way for you.
I miss you every day, Kyle.
So eventually you will get to see a full episode with Kyle, but I just wanted to make sure that people knew who he was. So when we jump into this episode, you're like, who's this dude and why is he telling us stuff? So with no further ado, we'll jump into the episode. Now you know who Kyle is, and let's get to it.
Awesome. Enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of The Brosen. My name is Mitch Hudson. I'm joined, as always, by our El Capitan bro, Adam Drake, our boss bro, Adam Drake.
Oh, I thought he was talking about me. I thought that was going to... Okay, my bad.
No, our main boss bro, Adam Drake. I'm also joined by baby daddy bro Kyle Rasmussen.
What's up?
He's also married.
Baby daddy bro.
Happy birthday, baby daddy David, son.
Happy birthday, David,
yes.
right?
Yeah, it's my son's birthday. Yeah.
Nice. He's out there. He's sitting at a table with a bunch of streamers and balloons, and Kyle's in here recording with us. It's a beautiful thing. We're also joined by Nepo Baby Jr. Sam Jenkins, who's joining us from
Hawaii.
Abu Dhabi.
Hawaii. Aloha. It is currently 6:40 in the morning where I'm at. So you guys,
they have Wi-Fi in Hawaii.
They have Wi-Fi in Hawaii, believe it or not.
No,
shout out to all of our Hawaii fans. If you're listening in from Hawaii right now,
hey guys,
let us know in the comments down below.
No, they don't have Wi-Fi. I'm just running on the spirit of the island itself.
It's actually called Hi-Fi.
That's so stupid. And last but certainly not least, we are also joined by our set choreographer bro, Willie Mellina.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm trained in the Italian.
Trained in the Italian. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Buongiorno, Willie, and welcome to another episode of The Brosen, set stories from the Chosen and beyond. I am joining you guys. I'm Mitch Hudson, and I'm joining from my in-laws' house. We are currently we're recording this the week of Thanksgiving, so I think probably a lot of us either are with family or have family nearby. So I'm currently at my in-laws' house. Got the paint studio behind me because my father-in-law is a painter, and so I've got some.
I wish so badly that he was standing behind you painting.
I wish he was too.
I wish you literally panned
here,
and he's just
hello.
painting right there.
Fancy seeing you here.
It's a happy little elephant.
So here's a fun fact about this episode, guys. We don't know what we're going to do today.
No,
We didn't
we
have a
don't.
plan coming into it. We were kicking up some different ideas. Never landed on anything of like, hey, let's do this for this episode. So,
Well, I had an idea.
yeah, what's your idea, Sam?
At the time of filming this, the season 5 teaser trailer just came out yesterday. What if we pull it up right now, watch
haven't
it,
seen it yet.
react to
Ooh.
it, talk about it?
Let's do it. That's a great idea.
It's a
We're
great
watching it
idea.
right here.
I love
Nepo
it. Baby Junior finally having a good idea for once, not just the
hire.
It makes it worse when you compliment yourself as
guys. Yeah.
Depending on
Yeah,
where
Sam, it doesn't work. Yeah, you got to let us compliment you. It doesn't work when you do it. Yeah.
Seems like my grandfather. My grandfather's good idea was Left Behind. My father's good idea was The Big Shows, but my good idea, let's watch the season 5 teaser.
That's only because I'm so used to having to give myself compliments because you guys never give me any and my dad never gives me any. So I have to now. I'm kidding.
It's a cry for
Hey,
help.
hey,
It's a cry for help.
It's
But
a
we love
joke.
you.
It's a joke. My concern is that at some point our audience is going to think that all the Nepo baby jokes are actually serious and you guys hate my guts.
Why would they? And what's the problem with that?
Right. We can.
So
never
who wants
mind.
to tee this up? Who wants to tee up our season
we need
5?
to tee it up.
You know what, Sam?
One
Why don't
man.
you tease up? It was your idea.
One
Let's Nepo
Bible.
Junior do it since he had the idea.
Nepo
All
Baby
right.
Junior, you had such a great idea. Share with us what it is.
Oh.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
And Sam, you look good,
So-
but not as good as Kyle. Kyle looks incredible.
Oh,
Kyle, you
thanks,
look so
man.
good.
No, Kyle always looks way better than the rest of us.
Kyle always looks so good.
All right. This is the Chosen Last Supper teaser trailer, which is the season that most of us just shot a couple months ago. So we're finally
Hang on,
watching
Sam. Can you
this.
take that back? Can you do that again?
Yeah, do that again, Sam.
That's not-
Sam,
that wasn't
Sam,
clean.
take two. Sam, take two.
All right. This is the Chosen Last Supper teaser
Real
trailer.
quick. No, I'm not joking.
which
I'm
is-
not joking. I'm not joking.
Here,
I wanna feel the
start
I'm not,
over,
like-
Sam. Start over,
yeah.
Sam. Start over, Sam.
It's like,
yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, here we go.
And like, get
Take a
that
deep
full
breath, take a
energy
deep
and that breath
Here we
there.
go. And go ahead.
And this is the
When you're ready.
Chosen Last Supper teaser trailer. Oh my gosh, should we play the trailer, please? Can we actually do our jobs?
For the audience listening out there, Sam got up at 4 a.m. today so he could do this, and we have been busting him down like a cherry tree. So whenever you're sitting here thinking to
I'm
yourself,
not sure how you do that, but
He's in
okay.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
he's a Nepo baby, he's this, and we're having just know that Sam
That's right.
is
Welcome back to another
perhaps
episode of The Bros, and this week is especially special because we are reacting to something that just
Especially
happened.
special.
Sam, especially special. Sam,
Especial.
what are we doing?
What are we doing, Sam?
This is the Chosen
No,
Last
you can't start
Supper.
like that. You can't do it.
Because you guys keep freaking interrupting. Let me talk.
Especial Sam
me up.
Especial Jenkins.
It cracks me up.
Hey guys, this is
Okay.
a special trailer, and I think it should be introduced by a special someone. Sam? This is the Chosen Last Supper teaser trailer, season 5, which is the season that we just shot a couple months ago, and we're reacting to the trailer today.
So good.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us on The Bros. And we're going to watch the season 5 teaser trailer. It's called The Last Supper. We're going to check it out right now.
All right. Love it.
Listen carefully, because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
Music.
Epic.
This is my father's word. Oh, let me never forget that though the wrong seems off so strong.
The hour is coming.
God is the ruler, yeah.
Okay, so I got something here I want to start with. First
I'm
thing
ready.
first is one of my favorite things that we've continued and it shows such a great job of is in these trailers, these teasers, is picking just a really great song that carries through the teaser. I love that. But what I want to know is, starting in my screen, top to bottom, Mitch, and then Sam, and then Jake, and then Kyle. What I want to know is, Mitch, what is the number one like image or moment that sticks out the most to you in the teaser?
Right now, it's sticking out to me is this Monsters Inc. for PS1.
That's what I was laughing at. It's like The Chosen, Last Supper, Gladiator 2.
I've got Megalopolis on his trailer, Gladiator 2, SNL. I don't know what this is. Armenian Apostolic Orthodox Church. I don't know what that is.
How'd that make it in?
Divorced Dad's Age of Alimony.
I feel like I don't know you at all.
So, man, Sam, watching that teaser, which frame, which image, which moment stuck out to you the most?
Well, I'll say the very first thing and get it out of the way. This shot right here of the Romans standing amongst the burning rubble is a little someone that we like to call Palestincans. Have you guys ever heard of the Palestincans?
You mean Palestincans?
I don't know about Palestincans. I've heard of Wallace Finkins, but I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Well, is anybody else want to literally now go write a script called The Roman and use this as our source material?
This is a pretty darn legit. I feel very proud of actually this image because this scene, Dallas literally came to me on set and I was asking about it in prep. I was like, what are we doing for this moment? Because this is going to be a huge thing. I don't want to spoil what it is, but I was like, what do you want to do? Because it doesn't involve any of our cast members. It's all just background. And he was like, whatever you want. He literally turned to me and was like, whatever you want. He was like, do whatever you want to do with this scene. And I was like, okay. And here we are with this explosive, crazy, huge scene moment here.
So that's Dallas.
Fun thing about that's Father Dallas. So the thing about Palestincans is that in all of his previous projects, he's had a cameo. So if you go back to all of Mr. Jenkins's projects in the past, that's what I'm supposed to call him, Mr. Jenkins. He's always had a cameo, but obviously because he's a white 6'5" monster of a man, he can't cameo in The Chosen until now. We can't say what the scene is, but that shot of the Roman is Palestincans, and that was one of the most uncomfortable days on set I've ever had. Seeing my father in Roman gear, not directing the scene, and Adam sort of directing the scene was a very, very strange day for me.
Mitch directed this scene.
I'm legally required to say that Adam directed the scene, or else I'll be fired off the team.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, Adam called action and cut on it. Your boy Mitch Hudson worked with the stunt team, background, and everyone for hours to make this scene happen.
That's true. But I think Adam and I could make a case that I directed some of the scene.
Well, it was kind of a collaborative thing, obviously, because we didn't have a director for it, genuinely. Like, it was like, I said it, because Dallas was like, he actually turned to me, I was like, you just do whatever you want, because there's no actors in it. And then, of course, he made the decision, I'm going to be in it too. And so it was like, okay, great. So I worked with the stunt coordinator throughout the entire day leading up to it, worked with the visual effects team, worked with the special effects team, worked with all these people to figure out, okay, where are the explosions going to happen in this scene? The only thing I didn't do is, of course, anything with what is the actual shot, because, of course, that's all Akis. And that was kind of pre-planned with Akis and Dallas. So they knew what the shot was going to be, what they were doing with all that. So I wasn't really, it was still directed by Dallas and Akis in terms of it being, hey, this is what we need the scene to be, what the shot to be, all that kind of stuff. But all the individual elements in the scene, I set up and created with the stunts and with the background actors. And it was a lot of fun. It was very honestly the wildest day I think I've had on set. And
dude, I enjoyed doing it.
And yeah, it was cool because special effects came in too and was basically like, well, what if we did this? What if we blew this up and we send this across? And I was like, Mitch and I would be like, well, yeah, Dallas, we do whatever. So special effects are like, well, can we do this? Like, yeah, do it. And so they just had more explosions, more stuff. So it just kept adding.
So
and Dallas was like, I love it. So
would you say this is probably the most like special effects The Chosen's used to date so far, or like from previous scenes?
All at once, certainly. Yes. Yeah. For everything happening all at the same time, yeah, for sure.
For our audience at home, yet again, special effects and visual effects are two different things. So special effects is stuff that happens on set. So on set explosions, and it's all practical, and you actually get to do it like in the moment and not add it in later.
Like that's real fire.
Like stuff like blues. Yeah, that's real fire.
Well, some of it is special effects. This is special effects. This is visual effects.
So you'll see visual effects are stuff that we add in later. So our blue screens, green screens, just CGI shots, those are what we call visual effects, and we add those in later. But a lot of stuff that we're talking about is special effects on the day. And this is truly the only thing that I'm good for on this podcast. So I'll now go
not
for
true,
Sam.
It's not true.
Sam.
That's not true, Sam. That's not true, Sam.
All right.
Sam, you have good ideas. You have good
Yeah.
ideas.
You have
This was a
such
great
good
idea,
ideas.
Sam.
No, Sam, you
We
have
may
a
not be
great-
able to use any of this, but it was a great idea.
Go back to that shot
Back
with,
to the shot
with that
of
wide
Jesus
shot.
in the crowd.
Yeah, give us that wide
This one?
shot.
Oh, you guys talking about some of my best
Yeah,
work right
okay,
here?
yeah, right there. From what I understand, you guys had a ton of background in different scenes, like probably the most you've had in different scenes, right? Would you say this is one of those?
Yeah, crazy enough, I would say that this is one where we had a lot of background. No, yeah, we had 600 fan background who came in addition to about 50 paid background who would come in on these days. So
Wow.
some of the people standing kind of nearby would be some of our paid background. Like basically, if they were dressed like Pharisees, if they had specialty outfits, those were some of our paid background versus like a lot of these people here on the right are our fan background. And of course, all back here is all fan background. And there's a couple people, as Michaela, I remember her, and some Pharisees back here who are all of our teal team, we would call them, our hired background for this scene. But yeah, 650 people right here.
Working on season 3, I just remember like the effort that goes into that amount. Like it just exponentially gets more challenging as you add, another 10 beyond that. So I mean, Sam and Ben, props to you guys. I mean, that's like it's quite a feat to pull that off. I mean, we've done it a lot, season 2 with a lot of fan background on Sermon on the Mount, all that, but and it looks great. I'm just impressed. It's like one of the
I would say about the background stuff, like this is where, as much as I love Mitch and he's like my big brother on set, it just doesn't, you don't really like joke around or like mess with Mitch very much when he's in this mode, because he's very focused on the background. Everyone knows and loves him, but he's giving all that love to the background. So in those moments, it's fun working with Mitch in these scenes and helping him whatever possible. But this is the most you'll ever see Mitch just focus on one thing. If you talk to him, he's like, great. All right, background. It's like, hey, don't ever talk to me again, or I'm going to make sure that I fire you.
Yeah, you got to be very keyed in, because it's very hard work, but it's also kind of emotional work, because it is. I do try to keep a good atmosphere on set when it's going, so you're kind of in a certain mode to sort of do that. But it's pretty taxing, especially since these scenes weren't like, this wasn't the first day of having 700 background on set. This was I think like 12th or 13th straight day of having, this many hundreds of people. And so you're like, man, I just got to try to keep up this energy.
Under time constraints and everything, like you placing background, you don't get the liberty of being like, hey, I just need like 10 more minutes to keep placing background. You have to like, you have to work within the time constraints of the A team, which they're working quicker usually. So placing 600 people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. Is this was 3 straight weeks of over 600. And on top of that 600 background, I'm handling some of those days were 28 cast members.
You have so many cast
members. And so I'm wrangling them, trying to get all of them into place and figure out where they're going and the blocking and all that. And basically, I only have a moment to give Mitch the download of, hey, Mitch, we're looking this direction. Get going, because that's all he's got. He doesn't get a rehearsal. He doesn't get any of that stuff. So it's like, I basically am quickly trying to figure out where they're going to be and where the camera's going to be. And then I download it to Mitch, or Mitch downloads it himself. And then we go. I remember when Mitch and I catching up after like the first week and just going like, it felt like we barely spoke to each other. I mean, we were, even though we're like working all day, we both were, I mean, we didn't have a moment to speak to the rest of our team. Like I couldn't even tell you what was going on with my second, with Roby, or even with Sam or anybody else on our team. It was like, those days were so taxing that by the end of those 3 weeks, what's crazy, it kind of felt like just a moment. It felt like a day or two after 3 weeks, because it was just like go, go, go for you and me. And once we finished, and it was at the very beginning of our schedule this past season. Once we finished that, I mean, the rest of the season felt like coasting for the two of us. It was like, oh my goodness, I can breathe again. And it's like, I can have a conversation with one of the actors, or I can have a conversation with one of our crew members and be like, oh, hey, what's for lunch today? Like you couldn't even have those conversations because it was just, Mitch and I were so just, I mean, running. And so it was, so to be able to see this is also extremely rewarding and fun to see, because it was just like, man, it was just, I can barely remember it. It went so fast, you know?
I was going to say, because it felt like when you said, like, it felt like we never saw each other, like, it felt like the entire AD team was just in little pockets, all separated, to where I didn't hear any feedback from either of you. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you guys BG, and Mitch is going to direct them, and then I'm handing off to Mitch, and then I'm going to go do my thing over here.
We didn't have time for feedback.
What's so wild about this is that it's as if we were trying to produce a ballet and an opera and have all these different major pieces, but they've had it for 6 weeks, they've had it for 3 weeks, they've had it for this amount of time. But rather than that, it's literally just all converging all at once in real time. And what Sam was saying, Kyle was saying to Mitch about, how much time do you have? No, it's got to be, the background might have been there an hour and a half before, and then we've had some camera rehearsals with second team, and then it's go time. I mean, you've got to light the smoke, get the thing going, bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. You might have a few takes at it. It's just wild to think about that with this, especially with TV and film, having to have so many major complex pieces right then and there. We got to go. Let's go.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say too, for Mitch, especially in us, is the background was way more involved than they've been before. So normally, like feeding the 5,000, we got a ton of people, but they're just sitting there for the most part. Mm-hmm. This was, they all had to be moving. Like in this shot, obviously they're just standing there, but that was a very specific shot. There was plenty of times they were moving, they were running, they were going here, there was so much action for the background. It was a lot more work.
It's hard to be a background. Like, it's very difficult work to do already. Like, it's, I always tell them, like, standing is the hardest thing you can do as a background actor, because that's how people pass out. I always have people pass out at some point on set, as much as we try to minimize it. It always happens because you don't even realize how physically demanding it is to be in a climate you're not used to. Most people aren't from Utah while we're filming in Utah. You're wearing sandals and a dress, and it's hot. It wasn't necessarily that hot on these days. It was actually colder, but still, like, it's, you're out in the conditions and you're just like not used to it. And there's so much happening around you. You're in a crowd, you're standing, people just, they pass out. It's like at concerts. People pass out at concerts a lot, like outdoor concerts. It's a similar situation here. But it's also crazy. Like, even just looking at the shot, I'm like, dang, I did pretty good on that line. You know what I mean? Like, it's a pretty, like, it's
that line was difficult.
It's hard to get hundreds of people to form into a meaningful shape, if that makes sense. Like, it usually just looks like mess. But it actually,
because I think what people don't understand is, like, for instance, they didn't stay in this form in the other shot, right? When we're facing the other direction, obviously we have to move lights and gear and all that stuff, so people have to kind of reform. When we turn around and look this direction, well, now those people that were on this side have to go to that side because now there's gear in the where they were standing, and so it's not just we have to reform the line over and over again. It's not we put the line in once and they stay. That's what makes it really difficult.
It's not like this shot and this shot happened at the same time. I have to we did
have to redo it. Yeah.
And then everyone leaves and we flip around and then I reuse some of these people behind our camera, and then and then I reform them up into here. And also, Kyle, look, this is Rebecca from Texas.
I noticed that.
We had a lot of people from Texas travel out to come to Utah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like becoming a thing now, which is pretty cool.
One of the other insane things about that week is the amount of people that came out just to be a part of it. It's not like we're like, we need 600 people from Utah. It was people from all over the world, from Texas, Utah, UK, Alabama, California,
Caribbean,
Hawaii, the Africa, everyone just coming in from all over the world just to be a part of it. So you have to deal with just so many different people. And Mitch is talking to 600 of them at a time, but we had like 1,800 people total because we had one group of 600, another group of 600, another group of 600. And it's just kind of crazy seeing it all come together because
were they all self-costumed or were they like, because
most of them were.
The fan background brought in their own costumes,
Cool.
Except for Teal Group, which was our paid group, where like we need to take extra precaution in dressing you because we're going to see it.
Ooh, this is a fun one because this scene did take us 3 days, Sam. This is what
that's what I was thinking of. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
This scene, when you see the episode, this scene was 17 pages, right? 15, 16, 17 pages.
Correct.
And,
correct. 17.
Also has 600 people, and it took us actually 3 days to film it. It was
and in those 17 pages, Jonathan had almost all the dialogue. So like him doing that is just unbelievable. I don't know that any other actors had to memorize that much and do that much. It was incredible.
It's like theater at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. But with lots of people and lots
and
of
lots
moving
of
parts.
and lots of energy. You know, it's not like he's just speaking like you and I are speaking right now, and he says the words.
It's
And then you have a line, and I have a line. Like you said, he's driving so much of it, and it's not just he's talking and saying, it would really be a lot easier if you so. No, it's just so, and I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, it was a lot of energy. So hats off to 3 days of jamming.
Shahar with his best hair of the show so far, I think.
I mean, literally,
Shahar
I think we could just give a shout out.
Season five, Shahar. The Shahar in season 5 was especially good.
It was hilarious. I mean,
Mitch, you just wanted to put that in there. Come on.
He
Should
looks
have shown
good though.
there.
This was his best hair of the show. Like he
was
I agree.
looking
I
improved.
agree.
I mean,
he was
he's-
looking so handsome.
How does he look so good with sleeves on? You know what I mean? Like this is his first year of having just sleeves, and
Now your eyes are
Shaharms.
directed to the Shahar instead of the Shaharms. Yeah.
without the
Yeah, it's more
Shaharms
Shahar.
distracting us, we can see the sleeves. Oh, there's Moses and Korah from the Promised Land. You might know them.
also looking
Right.
handsome.
All right. Yeah.
Hey, talk about how he got on the Chosen. Korah.
He was going to be in The Chosen in season 2.
He got sick.
and or maybe season 3. And he was sick, and then I did cast him in the Promised Land, and then Dallas Summon was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah. So actually, he was going to be cast in The Chosen first. Yeah, but he got sick, and we could not move our schedule, so Dallas had to recast. He was not happy about it, rightfully so, because Brad's amazing.
What role was
Brad's
that
great.
going to be?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
So
know.
it's
It
probably-
could have been,
is he
but he got
probably-
way better now that he's.
So
Yeah,
it's safe
exactly.
to say that his role was that much more meatier
Yeah,
because he
Because of
I think
come on,
so.
somebody.
yeah, it worked out really well for him, and he's a great actor.
That'll-
So good.
That'll
for him.
So
preach
good.
all week. You feel me?
That's all visual effects. So
All of
basically, all of the wall is visual effects. That's
Yeah.
none of us. The only thing that's
The
not
only
visual
real thing
effects
is-
is the crowd. We did
Right,
really have
it's
the
in the
crowd there with the
crowd.
palms.
Yeah,
And obviously the disciples there, the sheep are really there. All the grass and the trees are real. But everything above the grass line is visual effects, was put in post. Show that next shot, Mitch. Yeah, dude. I just want to say this was so much fun.
It's so
I don't want to. I don't want to talk about it too much because obviously we
Yeah.
can see it. But man, shooting these scenes, Jesus walking through the palm leaves. Mitch and I looked at each other at one point, and we were weeping. No, I'm kidding. We weren't weeping, but we were just like,
I
dude,
got
this
a little
is.
misty at one point.
I mean, a little misty. So that's why I don't want to
Yeah.
say weeping, but we definitely had tears in our eyes, and we were like, this is incredible. Then this is, and on top of that, it was so much fun. Like it was just like an absolute blast. I'll just never
Yeah.
forget that day.
There's actually not CGI in this image, which is very cool because we shot it on a stage and that's a backdrop.
That's
But it
awesome.
looks
Painted
Looks good.
backdrop.
It looked amazing.
Caiaphas. Oh shoot!
Oh, that shot. Mitch, pause. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
one of my
Yeah,
favorite.
dude.
This was
That-
the craziest.
That was the most
Dude, look at that
fever
lighting,
dream
though.
night we've ever done with BG, I think, because we're all delirious, we're all exhausted, and Mitch is directing like this dude's blowing a shofar. There's a sheep here. There's a choir. All of us are just exhausted. It's like the last. It's like a Friday night, and we're just giggling and everything. It's just the weirdest night we've ever done. I think for sure.
And it was
It was
600
so fun.
background again at night. So
Gee.
it was wild.
Well, and it was dead silent except for the sound of this choir singing a like really ominous sounding song, and so it was very, very crazy.
Do you remember, Mitch, what made us laugh genuine tears? Shout out to our BG, Dennis Cassio, who was blowing a shofar, but there was no sound. So he's blowing this shofar. And the shot, he was giving it his effort, all of his effort. And I was legitimately laughing so hard. I was on the floor. I had to crawl off set because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah,
And
we just had multiple
I was-
cameras running around. Yeah, It was
and just
crazy.
looking at
We had
that,
three
looking at
cameras
that
there.
one frame of Dennis just going. I was laughing so hard that I was inconsolable for 5 minutes.
It's so great.
That would get me too.
The choir did great. We said background milling around, and of course Jesus is looking at it all. It was a very surreal night.
And then I love after all that craziness, you go to the silence of the upper room
Of
at
the
the Last
supper,
Supper.
yeah.
Like you go from the crazy and the chaos to that quiet moment. That's so great.
This is an incredible frame. We haven't gotten to see Jesus angry ever in the show. And it's wild to see like the lion, you know what I mean, kind of coming out.
I mean, the closest thing is with the brothers, the Sons of Thunder. The closest thing is like, right?
Yeah, probably.
He just did all his own whipping in the show. He trained, like he literally like trained on how to use a whip and how to do everything correctly for these scenes. And it's
the guy who trained him how to use the whip also trained Harrison Ford to be Indiana Jones.
Crazy.
That's
what?
That's a resume piece right there. Put that on your resume.
That's a huge piece.
That's Sam G's first genuine job of placing BG on The Chosen. That was my day, buddy. Yeah,
this was not.
What?
But you
yes,
it was
was
the sequence.
Yes, it was.
This was you're thinking about when he's following Atticus and they go into that little side path.
We're gonna cut that. We're gonna cut that. What I just said because you're right.
Love you though, Sam.
I know you.
And you made such a big deal out of it too.
I mean, you should just. Nobody knows Mitch. You should have just let him have it. You know,
I thought
just let it go.
Have it. Well, because I wanted to have it though, but then we actually see the scene. I want to actually be like, this is Sam's scene. You know.
Yeah.
Just cut that.
Because when he does it, he has a lot more background in this shot. Like he had like actually a lot going on in the scene that he was doing it also. You'll probably recognize this dance. We did this dance in
the wedding
season 1 of The Chosen at the wedding. We brought back the OG wedding dance for this moment that you'll see.
Was that an intentional like throwback or like, did you allude to that intentionally?
You're kind of seeing it was intentional. It was meant to be the same type of dance, the same sort of moment. Yeah, it's really fun. It was a night scene. It felt very nostalgic because it was like what we did in the season 1 Wedding of Cana scene.
Really great.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so much like it too. The whole tone and the lighting and everything.
The moment for me that I got chills, honestly, was that shot of Mary Magdalene. For some reason, my body like had a reaction to that.
When she was crying?
Yep.
When she's crying?
Yep. Yeah.
That's a beautiful frame, dude.
I think all of our actors are incredible on the show, but Liz Tavish with just a look and no dialogue is just...
That's it. I think like there's so much communicated in that, and just her character arc through the whole up to this point too is just very impactful.
I think for me, it is probably when we come, because of where it lands in the edit and the shot is where it lands back on Jesus with his hands out in the Last Supper room towards the end.
Behind him.
After, because you've just done all the action. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the chaos. Boom. Let's get back to the calm. And Jesus like basically saying, here's what's going to happen, boys. It's a beautiful shot too, seeing all the candles and the Last Supper table. So yeah, I think it's that one for me.
And Sam, your favorite was the explosion.
His daddy. His favorite was his daddy.
I would say that's probably my favorite shot because of like I was on set and we can pull up this video that my PA Anna took of us both reacting to the explosion at the same time.
That's my dad.
Being there, feeling the heat of the actual fire, it's for sure one of my favorite nights on set. And I love shots like this. The fact we get to do it on a show like The Chosen, something I never thought we would do and something that we can't really talk about yet. That was a pretty surreal and cool moment. So that's why.
It's definitely exciting to me to see moments like this in the trailer. And this is why it's probably my favorite moment of this trailer, because I do feel like, and this is not a knock at all, like the Chosen is a great show with like incredible moments, incredible performances, but for the most part, the show is a dialogue show. It's a show about people talking to each other. And it's like, hey, here's what we're feeling with, here's what we're dealing with. There are moments where we kind of break out of that. But for the most part, what is, I think, most interesting about the show is what the characters are saying. It's not necessarily, and it's an incredibly well shot show, but it's not like you're like, oh man, you got to see the spectacle of The Chosen. The Chosen is not a spectacle driven show. It's a character driven show. But so to have moments like this where it is spectacle, there are things happening on the screen that are like, what? I think are really exciting. So it's cool to see that in this teaser, and I'm excited to see that moment in the show.
It speaks more because it's not overused. It's like when it's used, it's powerful.
Absolutely. To create a 1-minute teaser off of 8 episodes and to show all the players and who's going to have a voice in the season, who's going to have an arc. Like what an art form in itself to just create that 1 minute.
Yeah,
and
no kidding.
And
They
it's
have
just
hours and hours of footage to choose from, and to pick the right shots for the right moments. Yeah, to make it into 1 minute is extremely difficult.
and we start on the Last Supper, and that it starts with that noise, that music, and that says something, and then it ends with that, and then all of the in between, the beginning. It's just
So, Sam, you like explosions, but we are thankful today that you have chosen the Brosen.
the Brosens.
Oh man,
I know. Like
Sam,
Mitch
what's
says,
your
it's
favorite
really
thing about that shot right there?
I mean, I was going to say, like, I just can't believe that we got to shoot that with all the explosions and my dad being a Roman and doing all that kind of stuff. And just on that day, not a word was spoken. But we want to thank everyone for having chosen the Brosen.
That's so much better to have done the explosion. What's wrong with you?
Guys, can we
so-
not just admit that I had the perfect closing and we're done?
It was great.
Well,
it was great.
Talking about explosions is the right way to be closing, and we want to
That's what
thank
I'm
you all
saying.
for having chosen the Brosen.
And we want to know your favorite moment as well. So comment and tell us your favorite moment.
Let us know your
Kyle.
favorite moment. Yeah.
Yes.
Handsome Kyle with the ideas.
Handsome Kyle wants to
Kyle
hear
with the
your comments on what
assist.
you think about the trailer. We want to hear it too.
Season 5 teaser. Check it out right now on YouTube and look out for the Chosen Season 5, available April 2025.